Everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're doing What If Deku Had Nightmares Part 5. So let's get into it. Now, Zuko been training with All Might for an X amount of time. All Might was making a schedule for next week for what time he can go and help Midoriya go train. But Zuko said, can he get off on Friday? All Might said, sure, but why do it on that day? Zuko explained that he needs to go and he has to have a meeting with a certain doctor almost every month, and it's getting close to that time of the month. Which All Might said, okay, I'll change the scheduling for it will work best. And Zuko said thank you as he walks off and goes to his home. Damn, too many cars out now. Okay, back to it. Where was I? Going to Itami's place and telling him that he's going over to the doctor's on Friday, of course. Itami appreciates him telling him because lately he had to go there earlier. Zuko, skipping a few days, meeting with his friends and enjoying his time training, and when it gets to Friday, he goes over towards the doctor. The doctor said, well, hello, it's been a very long time since last time we met. Zuko agrees it has been, and he just sits down on a chair and does the same pose as usual. It's kind of like giving blood, but instead of from the elbow where most doctors would put for their patients, Zuko was being punctured through the hand. Somewhere in the center with a very small needle on both sides. And a pump was going through, and instead of coming out of blood, it was some black goop. As the doctor is just sitting there waiting, and Zuko just asks for the doctor to change the channel or something else, or change well, because it does take longer than giving some blood. After the session was over, the doctor greatly appreciates, and Zuko, well, he gets paid for this kind of service. The doctor gave him, it's quite expensive, $500 for that amount, and it's about a pint and a half of the very black goop. The doctor waves goodbye, and Zuko gets back home with his money. Why? As he gets home to Itami's house, he was told to do some chores, so he does. And he went back to his room, storing the money, and, well, wow, damn. Well, that's basically it for that month. Everything went well and good. And during these months, and having a whole 10 months of the same cycle, and with the quirk on with him, he learns of quite a few things. Instead of doing it in one area like he usually do with his quirk, he had to spread it out into his body, which All Might was not a good teacher to teach him, but he was talking to his friends in a secret kind of way about himself, but not really talking about himself. So they have no idea. And they explained that, well, Kaminari explained that with his quirk, he had to spread it around his whole body, or it'll hurt his hand if he do it too much. Which Zuko kind of understands and did the same idea to himself over at the beach. And this is when he develops full count. Sorry, I was thinking full counting. It's all over his body, but instead of being green, it was black lightning. Which All Might wasn't there at the time, but when he finally got there, he's surprised that Zuko was able to do this, but he thinks it was his great teachings. Now, 8 months in, Zuko have learned how to fight with it and also learn what percentage he's in, which it feels like it would be a 10 or a 12. One of those two. All Might can fight against him with his... It's okay. I'll make it the Zuko 10%, and for All Might, he's around 15. Yeah. They fight each other, and it's even. Zuko is getting the hang of this quirk more and more by each passing day. Every month he had to go to the doctor and get more, and lately it's getting more and more amounts of the very goo every month. Why? I'm actually losing my voice. I hate that. Man, I hate that. Now, it was getting close, and Zuko was asking All Might if he could train his other quirk. And All Might said, yeah, I completely forgot about your other quirk. How has it been doing? And Zuko said, well, I didn't really use it, but now I'm able to produce more of the black goo. Produce more of the nightmares. Which All Might said, oh, I see. Has Itami been telling you how to train it? And he said, Father has tried, but all the attempts don't really work. So All Might takes him to, for the next week, instead of in the beach, since it's mostly clean, he takes them to Tartarus prison, the prison that's holding the most dangerous villains there. And there's a lineup of 100 men. And All Might tells him to make them scared, but not frightened or terrified of you. Zuko tried to do it with one hand, but nothing happened. But it's the same outcome as always. All Might asked, do you have to do it with your whole hand? Which Zuko said, I think so. And All Might asked if he would do it with fewer fingers or less contact with your hand and see how that goes. Zuko said, okay, sure. So he does it with 4 fingers. It lasts a little longer, but the outcome came out the same. With 3 fingers, it lasted a lot longer, but it started to change. Instead of like immediately waking up and running away, they woke up and still silent and not really screaming it out, backs away slowly. That's progress. Zuko's learning that less contact or longer it takes means they're actually just going to be scared of him. But because it's draining, it's doing something different with its quirk. It's starting to cramp up his hands. And he switched over to his other hand. And well, it did the same thing. It just cramps up to a point where it hurts just to open it. After 25 guys, Zuko can't move his hands like he wanted to. It's still curled up into a ball or a fist. And now, that would be enough for today. Let's get back to it tomorrow, which Zuko agrees. The very next day, he goes and he does more. And this kept going, and he's always cramping up on the third finger. So 3 fingers are on their faces. But after a whole month and giving away a lot more, now a gallon of the black goop, everything seems a lot easier now. Instead of 3, it went down to 2. It lasted longer, and he had to stay in that position, or if he moves, he has to start all over. Well, that's why he thought. But when he took his hands off, the person wakes up immediately. They're in a daze for a moment, because Zuko, this was his first time actually moving his hands out of the way. And to his surprise, they're still talking to him as if they know, but they feel sympathy or feel bad for Zuko for what they have done to other people. And they are talking instead of yelling or screaming what is wrong with them. The very last month, Yue is about 3 weeks away, and Zuko finally did with 1 finger. It lasted 3 hours, and they woke up scared but aware that they have done something wrong. But they are not going to change their ways, which is a breakthrough, but this very villain is very dangerous, and All Might told him to do the 5 finger for him, which Zuko does. And it felt weird now, feeling the difference from that experience to this experience. Now, that will be the end of this time. The very next week is the enter exams for Zuko. And let's see if he enters UA. Alright, then bye.